Chat erst da, Mann. Hi.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
As well, yes.
We, of course, have a lot of questions.
Sure.
So you're the guy for the Ultimate Team?
Yes, Ultimate Team, basically just anything live service.
Okay.
So like, that's we look after like the campaigns and all those different things. So yeah.
The
Ultimate
promos
Team.
as well?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're the perfect guy now. By the way, macht ja auch die Promos und so. Und er ist auch für die Promos zuständig und sowas, wollte ich schon gesagt haben.
I should clarify. I'm not like the only guy that plans it.
Yeah,
I'm on the team that looks like
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the whole thing. So like,
Yeah, but you're one of them. I know that you cannot talk about everything, so I'm sure for that. But I ask you, and the information you can give me, you give me. So.
Exactly. That's how
Perfect.
I plan it.
Okay. Also ich hätte die erste Frage wird jetzt sein, Fragen jetzt über den Content generell, also wie er den Content fand oder auch sowas wie zum Beispiel Icon Packs, dass die letztes Jahr ein bisschen vernachlässigt wurden. I thought the content was pretty solid overall this year in EFC 25, but I had specific questions about the Icon SBCs. For example, during TOTS, we had 93 Icon pick SBC for about like 5 weeks. In previous years around the time we saw some really fun and creative SBCs like nations restriction ones, only Brazilian, France and Netherlands Icon pack. What was the thinking about that you choose this over this? So
When we first released it at the beginning of the sort of campaign was relatively high. Like people were kind of excited about it, but
Yes.
like as we got deeper and deeper into the campaign, into team of the season, the excitement around it and the shapeshifter, the excitement around it sort of started to wane.
yes.
Especially like, one of the challenges that we have obviously is that the pool of players that was in that upgrade SBC, like that you could actually pack, was large. And so it ended up that like most of them were else, right? Like most of them were not great that you were getting from that. So I think taking kind of that feedback and kind of thinking towards the future, there's definitely adjustments that we're gonna want to make to sort of the pool of players that we're making available in SBCs like that. And certainly the example that you gave around saying like, hey, can we get more creative with the pool of players by doing something nation specific? I think it's something that we're gonna focus on. Could we have like a stinker of an SBC? Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible
but like
as well.
we hear the feedback and we're gonna try and like that kind of feedback makes sense to us.
Okay, perfect. So question 2 to the feedback. You have this year like a community feedback system. You get all the requests from the community directly to you guys. And not only gameplay, that's what I thought, but also to the content.
Yes.
Yes, also so, for example, like 1,000 people saying the new promo Rush, for example, is not that good. Can you change to the next promos this and this? Did you see that and will change it in the same year?
Yeah, in the same year for sure. So like, I think it's really cool about working on the live content team.
So you have to know I'm a 7 p.m. guy.
Yeah.
My 7 p.m. content is like my life.
Yeah.
If it's cool SBCs coming out, like my life is wow, my day is fully nice.
That used to be me too. Like I used to be a content creator back in the day, and like I was the same way. Like if there's like good content, for me it was 10 a.m. But like if it was good 10 a.m. content, I was hyped. If it wasn't, I was like, well, what do I do today? But so one of the things that's really cool about working on the content team is that, or the live team rather, is that we have the ability to react to feedback really quickly. Like our turnaround times for, sure we plan things months in advance, quarters in advance. We could actually see something in like week 1 of a campaign, and then sure we can't completely redo the second week of the campaign, but we can like make small tweaks and changes to things.
Okay, that sounds good.
There's like 3 main ways that we get feedback. The first is through just like post on social media. The second one is the feedback hub, right? Like, and that's what we talked about, that pitch note that we released the other day. What we hope people use that for is to kind of go in there and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I propose you do about it. And then we have the design council, which is where we get to go, okay, we're seeing this feedback over here, people are telling this isn't working. We got some suggestions from our community in this space. And then we get to sort of like ideate with the design council and like what would work on how to solve it.
Die haben jetzt auch natürlich mit diesem Feedback-System, dass sie das auch auf den Content direkt bekommen. Und das Geile bei dem Content ist, sie können es halt auch direkt umsetzen. Also bei Gameplay muss man ein bisschen warten, bis ein Patch kommt, 2-3 Wochen, aber sowas können sie jetzt sehr schnell umsetzen. Das heißt zum Beispiel, mit diesem Feedback-System können wir sagen, yo, dieses Icon-Pack oder aktuell der Content ist richtig tot, macht mal das und das und das und ihr könnt auch halt Verbesserungsvorschläge geben. I saw a question, what about the shop? Is the difference, what you gonna do next year? It's gonna be the same in FC 26 or do you think to lower it a little bit down?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I'll kind of zoom out and kind of give some like higher level thoughts on like how we're thinking about like the power curve next year, because I think generally speaking, we heard feedback from players that the power curve moved too fast, right?
Yeah,
like
of course.
The pace at which gold players got left behind, heroes got left behind, base icons got left behind, and like team of the season didn't feel as special because the items were all so good already, right? One of the challenges though is obviously once you start moving at that pace in a given title title, like in a given year, it's hard to slow it down without it feeling really bad. So what we're hoping to do in FC26 is
from the start.
Yes, exactly. Recalibrate things so that we slow things down.
Das Problem letztes Jahr war halt, dass dadurch, dass die Power Curve so schnell funktioniert hat, ist, dass quasi dann alles schnell hochging. Das heißt, Promos waren krass, Promos gingen sehr schnell hoch von den Ratings her und dementsprechend auch die Shop-Packs etc. Aber dadurch, dass nächstes Jahr die ganze Power Curve genervt wird und generell halt alles langsamer wird, werden auch dementsprechend die Shop-Packs nicht so früh reingescheppert. You see a lot of questions. I don't know if you can talk about that, but 0-0 quit is a questions everyone asking about.
Yeah.
You introduced this year.
Yeah.
Is it still the same or?
Obviously, this is like one of the most top requested
I
things
know.
that we hear all the time. It's wildly I mean, I feel it as a player. It's wildly frustrating. The conditions were if it was a red card, if it was a penalty kick, and then if it was after the 45th minute, and somebody quit through the menu. So they paused the game, they scrolled down, they pressed quit. The problem was not everybody quits that way. Some people just turn off their Xbox.
Ja, Anwendung schließen meint er damit, weil haben ja auch manche gemacht, das hat nicht gezählt. Yes.
Yeah.
They just press the PlayStation button and leave it by there.
Kick the router, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So in FC26, what we're adding is if somebody turns off their console or they disconnect, for whatever reason, you'll still get the win. Yeah.
Ihr habt's gehört, also Chat, egal wie er quittet, sei es WLAN, Router, Disconnect, Internet geht nicht, Anwendung geschlossen, was auch immer, ihr kriegt den Sieg.
There'll still be the conditions for now because we're going to protect against bad actors where it's like it's got to be past a certain time, it's got to be the red card and that kind of thing, but like any reason that you disconnect.
Another question was about, I don't know how much draft is a live content thing, but draft is of course a mode which I was loving back in the days. It feels like EA's forgot about draft.
The way that we're thinking about it right now is that the rewards for draft at launch of 26 are probably going to be pretty similar to what they are at launch of
Of course, they can't
25.
be too OP to the start from the game.
Yeah, we're hoping to be able to experiment with updating the rewards of draft throughout the year. The frequency of that, like what the actual rewards are going to update to, all those kinds of details, we don't know yet. We want to give Draft more love.
Also ihr habt's gehört, also die probieren Draft auf jeden Fall mehr Liebe zu geben und es auch genauso wie die WL auch immer mehr Rewards generell ein bisschen immer mehr anzupassen. They ask about the journey, but I don't think the journey will come back. I know it's like official.
Yeah. I mean, like no current plans to obviously.
If you're talking about drafts, jetzt muss ich auch natürlich über Moments reden. What about Moments?
One of the things that Moments, kind of is able to deliver at the start of the year is it helps our like new players kind of like understand the mode, right? Like we've sort of used it as like a way to tutorialize, like, all right, this is how you take a free kick, right? For example. So while we don't have any plans this year to like really level up Moments and sort of the content we have in that space, we're gonna try and achieve a lot of the same things that we might be able to achieve or could have achieved in Moments and do that in live events.
Also Moments immer noch da. Die haben jetzt natürlich auch neue Sachen, Turniere und so, diese neuen Modis, die Live-Event-Modis, die sie dann damit ein bisschen ersetzen. You know, people are using Paletools to do SBC more quick and upgrade spamming them. Do you are against that? And if yes, do you do something about it?
Yeah.
Or do you?
It's a really good question. And so.
Or maybe include it yourself. Maybe.
It's a really good question. I think like if you kind of think about the evolution of SBCs and like sort of what they started as and where they're at now, it's very different. But we haven't really changed the UI and sort of how you interact with that to sort of match the new purpose or the new way that we use it. We added the changes to the squad builder.
Assistant and so it's helping. Me as well is helping very much.
Like we see that this is like a problem basically that our community is solving in different ways by using third-party tools to try and get around. And it's something that, we are going to continue to focus on in like sort of the coming months and years is to like how do we actually adjust SBC so that they can start to feel a little bit better as like the recycling
Are
system
there coming changes in FC26?
A
little bit?
At launch, no.
Okay.
Like there'll be essentially the same experience we have in FC25.
I see about open world mode. Is it gonna be a part on FC26?
Sort of something that we're excited for, sometime in the future of FC. It's not for 26.
Okay, but it's a part in your mind, and you wanna. EA is working on that.
As Cam was saying, like it's like sort of a space that we're exploring.
Okay,
sure.
Also ihr habt gehört, nicht für das diesjährige Jahr, aber es ist auf jeden Fall etwas, was kommen wird. What do you think about leakers?
To be fair, there are some positives that leakers bring, right? Like
hype.
They bring hype. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But I think there's a couple of things that are maybe challenging about when something gets leaked, especially if it's something about content. It will move the transfer market prices of stuff. right? And you could be put at a significant disadvantage if you aren't following the leaks. Like a good example of that is Van Dijk, right?
Yes.
When the Van Dijk in the premium pass got leaked, his, I can't remember if it was team of the season or team of the year, it like crashed in price. We don't want there to essentially be an expectation that in order for you to like make sure that you protect your club wealth, if you will, the coins that you have to like be subscribed or follow like a bunch of leakers, right? That's kind of an awkward space to sort of have. So there are some positives of it, frankly, but it's something that we're trying to cut down on.
Cut down a little bit, but I don't think that's something you can remove completely.
It's hard, right?
It's hard, yeah, so you have to get the where it's from.
There's a lot of excitement around like FC content, around FUT content, and there's a lot of different people who are going to try and figure out what content's coming.
Also Chat, ihr habt's gehört, ne? Die können es halt ein bisschen eingrenzen, aber Leaker werden immer da bleiben. So. What I read a lot is Softban, SBC Softban.
Oh yeah.
So of course we have now footies.
Yeah.
So everyone is grinding SBCs and want to do the best, getting the 99s and push their team, and they all got soft bans.
Yeah, that's in place to make sure that we can protect from people that are like exploiting the game,
hacking or something.
Yeah. But we like, obviously that's not a fun experience. Like it sucks. Yeah, that's something that the team is looking into.
Ja, also die haben es auf jeden Fall auf dem Schirm. Das SBC-Ban nicht so nice ist. Die schauen, was sie dagegen machen können, aber haben jetzt gerade noch keine Lösung, die er uns einfach so nennen kann. The World Cup is coming next year. So I hear from Twitter, I don't know, they got the World Cup license, is that right?
Our relationship with FIFA and sort of whether or not we have the World Cup license is unconfirmed.
It's unconfirmed, okay, ist doch gar nicht sicher.
However, when there's a footballing event, we're going to be there to celebrate it with you guys, right? So like whether or not it's officially licensed or not, like we're gonna have ways to sort of celebrate football when football is most exciting.
There gonna be a new weekend league system?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so yes, there will be.
Challengers is the name, I hear it.
Challengers, yeah.
Is both gonna be the same amount of games?
No, they'll be different. Some players just aren't good enough to qualify for champions, and then for that to be a good experience for them, right? Like you can qualify for champions, and you just get your shit kicked in for like 15 matches. That's not fun at all. You can kind of think of like that challengers as like the Europa League. Division 6 and above or 5 and above would be in champions, and then below that you would be in challengers. And like the exact cutoff there, as I said, to be confirmed, but it'll be something of that nature. And then like the actual number of matches. So it'll likely be, and again, to be confirmed, but 15 matches most likely for Champions Finals, so that'll stay the same. And then,
aber ihr habt gehört, bleibt das Gleiche, ne? Also WL 15 Spiele, bleibt genauso.
Yeah, and then for challengers, it'll be considerably less. Exactly what that means, not sure yet. Maybe somewhere in the ballpark of like 5 to 10.
Okay. I'm sure that you get the feedback that the community and the FIFA players want maybe 30 games back, like in the old days, and we love the top 100.
Yeah, the 30 games is one where when you think about, and I think it's super relevant this year, that was very alienating for a pretty significant proportion of the community. So like for folks like you and me, or maybe folks in your chat, like yeah, I'd take 30 games back. I want to grind for that amount of time each week. It's fun, and also it helps to make sure that if I get like a disconnect on one, or like I get really unlucky with my matchmaking or whatever it is, that like I can still on average get to the sort of like rank that I deserve, right? But the challenge is that we want players kind of doing other stuff. With that in mind, what we're hoping to do this year is the Champions playoffs. Those 5 matches are going to be removed this year, and then we're going to be taking down the number of matches that are required in Rivals each week to get your second tier rewards.
Sounds crazy. Ihr habt gehört, WL-Quali weg.
And then what people do is then they take those matches and they go and play live events, so they go play tournaments, so they go play gauntlet. So we're trying to like sort of vary up the gameplay experiences so that it doesn't get stale.
Es gibt viele Leute, das sind auch mehr die Casual-Leute, wahrscheinlich nicht wir, die sich halt denken, 30 Games sind ein bisschen zu viel, Bro, darauf habe ich keinen Bock und auch nicht die Zeit haben, und deswegen ist es ein bisschen schwer, es zurückzubringen, ne?
That doesn't mean that we don't want to create like really deep experiences for like super competitive players that want to put a ton of time in.
Yes,
so
of course.
like one of the things that you would have heard us talk about is with this new live events feature, we have the ability now to create live events that are chained, right? Chained live events. So what that means is that we can say, in order to qualify for this live event, you need to do something else.
For example, you have to be in Division 1 in Rivals.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a big menu grinder. I like to be in SBCs, doing this stuff, open some packs, upgrade packs and something like that. And I had the problem last week, the menus hard, super laggy. I can't do SBCs. Do you have a solution for this?
Similar to what I was saying before, like this is probably not my area of expertise, like the menu responsiveness and stuff like that. But I do know that there's teams looking at it. We know it's important to you guys that like you move through it quickly, especially like Alt Gen, for example. It moves at a glacial pace right now, trying to get through the menus. We know that's not a good experience. We know it's not a good experience.
Icon swaps coming back, or like kind of swaps?
There will be, like, short answer, icon swaps in the way that they were back in the day.
No, but
like things that are rewarding you for season-long engagement. Like some of those chained events that we talked about, yes, and potentially some things to celebrate some international football, but icon swaps specifically no.
Okay, also nicht Icon Swaps direkt, aber generell Swaps wird wahrscheinlich auf eine Art und Weise wiederkommen, ja. Once to watch? I love it once to watch back in the days, but I'm not sure it's a part of FC 26.
Campaigns that have live items are really popular, so we're definitely going to continue to lean into live item campaigns, but like once to watch specifically, no.
2 versus 2 weekend league.
Oh, 2v2, like co-op?
Yeah, co-op.
No plans specifically for launch of 26, but heard on the feedback area.
Okay. My mod's asking, rewarding rank 1 players better with less luck factor.
So there's a couple things that we plan on doing sort of in FC 26. It won't be available right from launch. We don't suspect, but just like trying to deliver like things like evolutions, which are a little bit more like concrete in terms of their value. You know exactly what you're going to get when you get an evolution. Using that as one of the mechanisms to like reward players as compared to just packs, and so that'll help with some of the feast or famine. I think you'll still have the sort of like somebody that is
lower than
6 got lucky and got something better than you. That's a frustrating experience, but obviously that's all a super exciting experience for that person too. So, there's a balance to it, of course, but I think like generally speaking, we will look to try and reduce some of the randomness in that.
Last year in FC 25, power curve of the evolutions was very high. You're going to slow everything down, like not only the promos and the players, Evos also.
Yes.
That sounds good.
We don't want Evos sort of eclipsing the power of those spaces, to the point where it's like pointless to go do an SBC.
Yeah.
So yes, you will see is that Evos will less frequently produce player items that are at the very top end of the power curve. That doesn't mean that they won't ever produce items at the very top end of the power curve.
But at the end of the game, so.
Yeah, but you will see that less frequently happen, and they'll be better balanced, sort of like relatively speaking, to SBCs, to campaign, to promo releases.
It sounds for me perfect. I think it's only 2 new modes.
So we've got live events.
Live events is one of them,
which is sort of like the evolution of friendlies in a way.
Yeah.
You've got tournaments. Right? So the knockout style stuff, and then you have Gauntlet.
But I thought Gauntlet was in live events.
Kinda. It's like a little bit different.
Okay.
I could maybe explain Gauntlet. There isn't a ton of spaces that we have in the game right now where you can go use your like non-main team, right? You've got champions, you got rivals, which is like, that's where you use your main team, and that's like, that it'd be silly to take anything into that outside of that. And then you have, friendlies, which is kind of like this space where you get to use like different types of teams, but EA tells you what teams to use, right? EA says it's going to be French team or whatever it is, right?
Rating 90, rating max.
Yeah, exactly, right? But where we want to kind of get to is like, there's a spot where you get to use whatever team you want, right? Whatever, sort of past and present, whatever Evo, whatever first owner, whatever untradeable. And so that's why we created Gauntlet. Gauntlet, the way it's set up is it can be 2 to 5 rounds. It's up to us on like how to tune it and all that kind of fun stuff. And we'll hear feedback from you guys on what's the most fun. And then in each of those rounds, every player that gets used in that, in the starting 11 and the bench, is not eligible for the next match. So basically, your starting 11 and then your entire like bench that you bring in can't be used in the second round or any of the rounds after that.
So you have to change completely your squad.
Exactly. So what that basically means is that you need to maintain like 2 to 5 squads to complete that Gauntlet event. Ooh. And so the idea there is that like when you think about that, you can go, oh, cool. Like it actually makes sense for me to like maintain a second squad or a third squad. They'll have pretty good rewards behind it because you can think about how, like, one, you can kind of lean into the football fandom of like, all right, well, I like Crystal Palace, but like Crystal Palace don't have good enough players to go play in Champions.
Yes.
But like as my third team, they're actually good enough to be my third team. Probably going to be similar to like a like every 2 weeks, maybe like a few times a season. But when we do it, the rewards will be really strong. And obviously, like based on players' feedback, like if you guys are like, this is sick, this is all I want to do, sure, we could make it every week.
Also ich habe gehört, dass der neue Modus, dann wirst du halt immer wieder neue Spieler spielen müssen, weil du jeden Spieler nur einmal spielen kannst. Das heißt halt Gauntlands und du kriegst auch halt auch Rewards und so, ist schon sehr, sehr geil, muss ich sagen. Goalkeeper Alpha Evolutions.
Yeah, so
I saw it, of course.
super excited to share that it is coming to FC26.
I hope it's not too overpowered.
yeah. That'll be because obviously the interesting thing there is you could find the tallest goalkeeper and just like
I know.
make them really strong. So yeah, the tuning around that will be important.
Of course. And what about the chemistry system?
Like no major changes this year to chemistry. One of the pieces of feedback that we saw last year was about roles and like role familiarity in the FCIQ system and sort of how that ended up in situations where you basically just had less flexibility when you're putting together your squad. Yeah. And so like an example was like, let's say you had a left wing and that left wing had inside forward plus or plus plus. So you could play them there, like they'd be good. But they also had right wing alternate position, but they didn't have any inside forward familiarity on the right side, which is why would that, So one of the things that we're going to be changing at launch is that we're going to be more generous with like the base items and what role familiarities that they have. And then the second piece is as we move throughout the live services and move throughout the year and we do different promos or campaigns, the rate at which we will give out more role familiarities will be faster than last year. So like put another way, more players and campaigns will have better role familiarities than, and they will get them faster than what they did in previous years because we saw a lot of players basically telling us like, hey, it's kind of like it's annoying. The gap between plus and standard in terms of the role familiarity, like ability, like their positioning is not going to be as significant as it was last year. So like even if you choose to play somebody out of position or you choose to play somebody on standard role familiarity or the plus role familiarity, there won't be as big of a gap between that and plus.
Bring exchange earlier. Yeah, what about exchange? We love it to Team of the Year, but you bring them this year very late in the game.
Duplicate exchanges is like a symptom or like a solve for a symptom of like the power curve moving too quickly. If we move the power curve at an appropriate space or appropriate pace, we shouldn't need that. So like if it comes to the point where like, we moved it too quickly again and supply is too high, will duplicate exchanges come back? Probably, but we hope not.
Hybrid nation, hybrid leagues. Very excited for this for the beginning. Everyone's doing this. Still will be untradeable in FC26, right?
Yeah, and so the final tuning on our sort of like foundation SBCs, like that tab kind of all the way to the right, we're not 100% sure yet.
The year in review picks. You just choose not to drop them any in whole FC25.
Yeah.
Why?
I can take that feedback back. Like I can just go up to the guys right
now. Please go outside and tell them, please. We need them.
So basically, you like the ones that are like this could be any item from a previous campaign, but it's like specifically you like the SBCs.
SBCs because you have the chance to, for example, get MVP Player of the Month.
Right, like if you missed it.
If you missed them or don't have enough money, I don't know. Oh my God, loyalty packs to the beginning of the game.
That's a good question. I think there will be something. Yes, I think there will be something for club members. Kind of like similar in terms of like the rewards that you got last year, and then I do think there will be like returning user reward packs that you get like when you open up the web app for the first time.
Okay.
No, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. And I appreciate the chat was like incredibly active. Like, you've got a very active community here. I'm super engaged.
Yes.
I appreciate.
Very thankful for you guys. Sometimes I hate you know that.
Bring on FC26.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Stuff. So. Okay. Thank you, chat.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Very fun. Okay. You will see us probably in the.
Yeah.
You're walking here right now.
Yeah.
So. Der war so korrekt, Bro. Es hat richtig Spaß gemacht, Chat. Und ihr seht, Bruder, ich probiere wirklich das Beste für uns. Ich habe den Tipps gegeben, zum Beispiel sollte Jahresrückblick in FC 26 zurückkommen, ist das nur wegen mir, sage ich. Das geht 100% auf meinen Nacken. So, haut rein, Chat. We will see us. Tschüss.